welcome back to another video on leveraging the functionality of your handheld running EKW. Today I'm going to spend some time talking about custom material queries and how we can use them to most efficiently process material transactions in the warehouse. You should see on my screen I have a series of custom material queries that I've built for my device. The first one I have here is simply going to show me transfer orders. This one will help me pick for jobs, and this is a purchase to stock query. I'm going to be filtering my material queue based on some criteria that I'm going to dictate. This is going to help me put the right work onto a queue so that a specific person or a group of people can access that to know what work needs to be done. If I look at my material request queue, I can see that I have several types of transactions. I have a manufacturer to stock, plant to stock, all of these. And depending on the type of work that I want to do or moving people in the most efficient way, it may not make sense to have someone picking parts for jobs, pulling things from jobs to stock, moving WIP, etc. There are many, many ways that I can filter this to be most useful for my company. So this first one, you see that I have a handful of transaction types, several different types of transactions here. I'm going to go back home and I'm going to look at one of the queries that I have set up to help filter that down. And this is my put away. So if I go into the material queue, you'll see everything in here is listed as purchase to stock. My query is fairly simple in that it only specifies a purchase to stock type transaction. But if you want to think creatively about the types of transactions you may do, in my test environment, lots of things are going to this 000000 bin. I could have the system look for transactions that are going into a specific warehouse, into a specific bin, or originating in a specific area. So there's two ways to get to the custom filters page. One is to go into Material Queue, click on this little overflow icon right here, and go into the Material Query Editor. In here you can see that I have quite a few set up in my test environment. The other way is going to be to go through your main menu, come down to your settings, and then go into Material Query. Again, shows you the same screen. When you're ready to build a new query, click New Query, and then we're going to type in the filter name. I'm going to do a job pick. If you are a security manager user, you may set this company level. It is a good idea to have a security manager build a couple of these queries so that everyone may see them and simply add them to their favorites. As a user, you may create additional queries that only you will be able to see. And it's giving me an error on that because I already have a different query called job pick. So I'll just take out that space and it should let me save. So now that I'm ready to make an edit on that query or actually start building it, I'm going to click it. And then I have options. Do I want to do a new filter or a new sort? Let's start with a new filter. This is going to give me the option to join columns. It's going to give me the operator is equal to, greater than, less than, etc. When I build a query, I'm often looking at my transaction type. And this is going to be STK-MTL, stock to material. These are not case sensitive at this time. So my first criteria on this query is going to be that when the transaction type is equal to stock to material, it will show up in my queue. I'm going to add another filter. I can select from any of these columns. These are all columns that exist on the material request queue table. The next column I want to sort by is the job number. If I'm doing a job pick, it's helpful to know what my job number is. I do not want this to be a static field. I want it to be updatable on my handheld by the person logged in and using the query. So I'm going to do a show in form, and I'm going to leave this at is equal to. So when I go and type in a value, when it matches, it'll show me criteria that matches that. And save. There's also the option to use a custom column. If your column listed is not in here, you may opt to include it in your filter. If there's anything else that you need to include, maybe a need by date is important for you, we have lots of options in here for that. I'm going to delete this because I don't need it, and I'm going to go into a new sort. You have lots of options in here as well. Do you want to sort in the order that it was added to the material queue? Perhaps if you have multiple types of transactions, you might like to sort by that. When you are picking for a job, it might be helpful to sort by the from bin. Again, you have the option to do a custom column, and I'm going to save. Once I'm all set, I'm going to return, and now I'm ready to start using this query. I'm going to go into my menu. I'm going to go back to my custom material queries, and I'll see this one is the newest created at the bottom, that job pick. And then I'm going to click material queue. Just to note, your material queue is going to show you all available transactions that no one else has selected, and my material queue will show you those transactions that you have already selected. So I clicked on material queue, and you can see all of the stock to material transactions that I have. And I've got my job number right here, so 2042. I've got several jobs. I'm going to come up here into my job number, and I'm going to type 2042. And now this has identified all of the parts that are required on that job. So I may select them and move them now to my material queue, where I may begin processing them. And to process them, I will process them like I would on a standard material queue transaction. I will click on it or scan it, and then I will update to the quantity that I'm moving. In this case, I'm only going to move 10, where I'm picking them up from, and where I'm taking them to. And I'll save that transaction. Because I did not process all 20 pieces that needed to move, you'll notice that I still have 3 transactions here.